When I just had the wildest dream. Not the wildest, but a wild one. So, like always, whenever I have these crazy dreams, I like to share them with you all. Check it out. And so, before I tell you the dream, let me tell you this. I'm a little bit nervous on April 8th. I have no idea, you know. I just feel like there's something not right about it. Like, with our eclipse we're going to see the Devil's Crescent moon, and that hasn't been seen in 200 years. Then I found out April 8th is God's birthday, or some God's birthday out there. Not sure which. And then so I'm thinking about it, and then it made me really, and I learned that right before I went to sleep last night. Someone told me that in a chat. So of course it had my brain racing even more, like what's going on here? Like something don't feel right. It really don't feel the way how the weather is acting up. And then now we got this. The first eclipse I'm going to see is going to have the Devil's Crescent. I guess in this lifetime, no one has seen the Devil's Crescent yet. They'd have to be 200 plus years old, you know? It's wild. The Devil's Crescent is basically just, it's where I think the moon and the behind the sun, or honestly, I don't know which is going to be behind which, but somehow it's going to look like a red moon or a red circle in the sky, a really red circle. Like devil skin red. Just for like a second or few, you know, because it's happening at 2:38 p.m. to 3:06 p.m. That's what people say, you know. They say, "Oh, it's not going to even be happening long." And I'm thinking, it makes me even more worried. I'm like, man, people are getting stupid more and more as time goes on because they think, in the past when people were like, "Oh, you can't really tell what's going to happen in the future. You know, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It could be good, it could be bad." That's how people were back then. When I was growing up, you know, they didn't think that okay, tomorrow's going to be like tomorrow's going to be better. They didn't think that. They thought it could be better, it could be worse. You don't know. And that's the truth. You really don't know. But now it feels like people think tomorrow's going to always be better. Or they try to tell themselves that. That's not the truth, though. You're lying to yourself. We don't know. And that's the truth. And it makes me even more concerned. Because once you're off your toes, God is going to put you back on your toes. You know? I'm pretty sure there's many gods out there, and one of them's going to be like, hey, I don't like how you're treating as if, everything's always going to be fine and dandy. That's not what life's about. It's not a video game, It's not like you'll die and then you have another life or three extra lives. It's not like that. That's what it feels like. It's kind of a lot of people are treating life. I'm not down with that. That's fake. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen, honestly. And my dream that I had last night, it was not a pretty one. It was awful. I don't know if my dad was like trying to make loud noises and try to talk to me while I was sleeping, because that's what they like to do. They like to make loud noise, interrupt my dreams, try to ruin them. And sometimes it works, but this time I think it was all my brain. Like it was me being worried about the eclipse and just like not feeling right. So let me get to the dream now. I told you that, all that. So the dream starts off with me and four other streamers. I'm not going to call them YouTubers because they could have been streaming on any platform. The idea was basically we were having this trip to go to the most perfect spot to see the eclipse at its fullest. So we're driving, we're cracking jokes, like YouTubers and streamers do, basically. We always have a good time. Even when the cameras are off, we're sitting there acting like the cameras are on. It was fun. It was fun, it really was. And then the eclipse was happening. So the driver pulled over, and we all got out the car. And I know how do 5 people fit? I don't know how that happened, but somehow I think it was just 4 people in the car, and when we got out of the car, a 5th person joined us. That's what I think happened. I don't know, but anyways, so we're looking up and we're seeing the moon, a giant big moon, and then over on the side, you see another a black planet just slowly approaching it. And I'm looking, I'm like, wait a second, that's supposed to be the sun, and that's supposed to be the moon. I don't know what the hell that planet is moving, but that's the moon for sure, no doubt. And it was so close to us. It was huge. It was like as if it was like just seconds away from dropping on us. That's how close it was. And then I realized as this other planet got closer to the moon started to crack. I'm not saying just a little like Liberty Bell crack. I'm saying it cracked like the whole freaking moon was like, like there's a whole spider web in the moon now because it cracked all over. And the closer that other planet got, it kept cracking that planet. I knew exactly what was happening. The thing that was happening is as that planet passed, it was passing too closely. So the gravity shield, I forgot, atmosphere. The atmospheres of the planets were pulling on each other. And guess what? I saw what the black planet was. Finally, it looked like a shadow. It looked like pure black, like a black ball. But once it was getting close, like once it got halfway across over that moon, I saw the color of that planet. That planet, it was Earth. It was freaking Earth. It wasn't the sun. It was Earth. And then I'm like, holy crap, that's a. And I looked down, I'm like, where the hell are we? If that's Earth, what the hell is this? And then, and I knew the moon was about to just explode and become like basically an asteroid field, because I'm making myself believe that if planets ever do crash into each other, it's not going to cause, like, one planet's going to be weaker than the other planet. And since the moon, it has like that high gravity, I feel like it'd be more of a softer planet, so it'd be the one to crack. And it would basically, before it even enters the atmosphere, it would just tear apart in rocks, and those little rocks would just fly around that planet and almost crash it. That's what I'm making myself believe. Obviously, it could happen either way. It could happen that way, or it could happen. I don't want to think of that second way. Good thing I don't think of that second way, because that's how my dream would end. My dream would end as soon as it started. Because that's probably what would happen. Or probably would explode in the sky. I don't know. Either way, the Earth was in the sky. I don't know what planet I was on in my dream, but it wasn't Earth. Earth was up there. And then so the Earth was basically halfway across the moon, and then the eclipse started to happen. And I realized I didn't have the glasses on, and I didn't want to go blind. So I turned around really quickly before it completely covered the moon. And I was like, I wasn't looking anymore at it. Didn't look up anymore in the dream. Through the whole dream, I did not look back up at that eclipse. And guess what? That whole dream, it was dark. Which means that eclipse was happening through the whole dream. Whatever was happening up there. I don't know, I didn't look. But the other streamers told me, hey, look at that, that's crazy. Like something was happening. And I said, I'm not going to look. I'm going to go blind if I look at the eclipse. I don't have the glasses. So afterwards, I realized something bad was happening. I told them, like, hey, if that moon is going to be breaking up into pieces, we got to be careful for asteroids. And then so they're like, well, let's go to a party. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go to a party. Truthfully, what we should have done was try to get to the other side of the planet as quick as we could. But if it's the way I think it is, like you know how I said, it's going to be like if a planet crashes into another planet, it's going to be a bunch of rocks going around the whole planet. You know, even if you go on the other side of the planet, you're not going to be safe. Maybe the top or the bottom of the planet, you'll be safe in that case. So we go to this party. First, we go to the mall. And the mall, we were like, they need to buy clothes or something. And so I'm chilling in the mall. I don't need to buy anything. So I'm just like basically hanging out in like, you know, that hallway lobby area. As people pass by, I'm just talking to them, just chilling. And then finally, they're ready to go. Okay, we head to the party. And at this party, this is where the dream gets weird. And honestly, I can't tell you how the dream ends because it got that weird. Like, I'd have to make it 18 plus if I had told you how that dream ends. I don't even think I can tell you how the dream ends even then because it was more than 18 plus, we'll just say that. It was God plus, you know. Only God should see that and be judgmental about what just happened there. It was crazy. So, throughout the party, I'm making a lot of friends, and everyone's just loved, like I'm the life of the party, basically. And usually how it is in real life, honestly. Like I get everyone having fun, and then once everyone's having fun and stuff, I'll start getting bored, and I'll basically dip. But before I dip, I tell everyone bye, because if you're the life of the party, it's best to tell everyone bye before you dip. They'll be sad over that crap if you don't. It's part of life. So I'm telling everybody bye, and you know it's funny. The last person I told bye was a mother of the house. I don't know who she was, mother of, but she was like a mother, and she cooked all the food there, and so I told her like the food was awesome, the party was great. Thanks for letting me, you know, hang out with you all, but I gotta go, and also you probably won't see me again. That's the last words I said. You probably won't see me ever again. But I had a fun. It was an awesome time, you know. As I'm walking out, and then that she stops. She looks like she's thinking like, what does he mean? You'll never see me. Is he about to hurt himself or something? No. What I was planning to like go to the other side of the planet. As soon as I left that party, I'm ready to dip because I don't know if I'm thinking the asteroid's about to drop on that side of the planet where the eclipse happened, and we were right under it, you know. I didn't want to be under the eclipse anymore. Basically, that's what happened there, and so I was planning a getaway plan. But as I'm leaving, they say, "Oh, you're gonna leave without your shirt or jacket," and I realized it was cold. And I looked down, like, "Oh, dang! I guess I did leave my jacket or shirt. I guess I took it off at one point during the party." And this happens a lot in my dreams where, like, at random times, I'll be basically stripped down to my boxers because that's how I sleep, in my boxers. And it just, like, you know, travels over to dreamland at times when I guess I'm waking up around that time. And so I'm looking around for my shirt and stuff, and I found my shirt, and I couldn't find my jacket. And it was still cold, and I was like, dang. I'm like, I'm not going to leave without my jacket, you know. And then so I'm looking, and that's when the weird part happens. Very, very weird. In the living room, there's this lady laying down on a couch. And then there's this old Indian guy. And then he was like, I don't know why he was doing this to her, but he was claiming he was a doctor, and he was doing the most messed up things to her. And I was standing there watching it because, well, at the end of the day, I'm a guy, you know. I was like, dang, what are you doing to her? And And he just it's like the Family Guy episode. It's okay, I'm a doctor. I'm staying there shocked now. Because now I can't even tell what's going on. And then the doctor guy looks down and he's like, "Oh, you seem to be enjoying this." And I look down and now I realize my pants are gone. I still have the shirt I found, but my pants are gone. I'm like, "Oh, great." This looks horrible. Oh, like my image. That's all I care about is my image. And I'm looking around, I'm like, "Oh, God, good. No one else is in this living room." I'm like, "Dude, where'd my pants go?" Oh, and it got weirder and weirder. In those last few minutes of the dream, it was just weird. I had to force myself to wake up to get out of there, like, alright. Because I kept looking for my clothes. Like, I couldn't leave the party because I kept looking for my clothes. I want my freaking clothes. And I never found them. Oh, I found the shirt, but that was it. I think people took the clothes. That's what happened. Yeah, it was like a prank. That's what they did. They pranked me, and they took my clothes. I don't know how they got my pants off. That's a weird thing about it. Like, that was the funny part to me. It's like the whole dream I had pants on, and at the end of it, at this weird part, my pants are missing. And it makes me look like the weirdest person in the world at that point. I feel like I'm like, oh God. Good prank. But there's a part in that dream actually basically just signing autographs for fans, honestly. Not much, but the fans were being funny and they were pranking too. So I guess that